can't you see I'm sleeping here? Oh, we're on? I gotta tell... okay. So, hey, hello. Hey, we're back at the top again today. Welcome to week 1 of the ICBA, season 5. This week we play Kelly under the radar for the Maryland Torterrapins. And now I need to get back to sleep.
How is he?
The same as last night.
Very interesting. Even those who have the potential tend to be unstable at first. Memory loss, disorientation. But this subject is rather unique. He hasn't exhibited any of the common symptoms.
But we're treating him like a guinea pig.
I understand your concern, but it's imperative that we recruit new members. I heard he's your classmate. Wouldn't you be more comfortable working with someone from the same grade?
Yeah, I guess. But still.
Command room. Is that you, Akihiko?
You're not gonna believe this. This thing is huge. Unfortunately, I don't have time to talk. It's chasing me. I wanted to let you guys know. I'm almost there.
Does that mean he's bringing that thing here?
Mr. Chairman, let's suspend our observation for now. We'll prepare for battle.
Right. Be careful.
Akihiko!
Senpai!
I'm alright. Get ready to be surprised. It'll be here any second.
This is no time to joke around.
It's one of them, Akihiko?
Yes, but not an ordinary one.
What the? You've got to be kidding me!
Mr. Chairman, please head for the command room. Takiba, go upstairs and wake him up. Then escape out the back.
But what about you two?
We'll stop it here. You led it to us, Akihiko, so I'm afraid you'll have to fight.
Like I had a choice. What are you waiting for, Yukari? Go!
I'm going! Wake up! Sorry, I'm coming in! I don't have time to explain. We have to get out of here now! Hurry, downstairs! We'll leave through the back door. Wait! Take this, just in case. Okay, let's go.
Well, I mean, I'm awake now, but that's only because something is coming for us. We've got to get down to the back door. They are still selecting, so we still have time to get down there, but it's not much. So that allows me enough time to explain what's going on. This is an overarching plot that will last throughout the entire season, no matter what happens. It's all in good fun. So without further ado, we can get back into the scenario, because they are ready, and that means we need to see what we're going up against. Under the radar. This is a match that's been in the making for years, but in a positive light. So, what are the Maryland Torterrapins bringing? Well, we see Mega Steelix, Clefable, Landorus Therian, Heracross, Skuntank, and Rotom Heat. But today we are bringing Aegislash, Hydreigon, Tapu Fini, Azelf, Arcanine, and Mega Beedrill. Now looking at his team, I feel like he is going to either lead with the Clefable, maybe the Landorus Therian, maybe the Rotom Heat, but I'm really thinking the Landorus Therian because maybe he wants to get up rocks, maybe his Clefable has rocks, but I'm probably assuming that his Steelix there has his Stealth Rocks. But also, like I said before, the Volt Switch potential is possible with Rotom Heat because that thing is going to be a problem knowing the fact that my only switch in is Arcanine because he kind of hits everything else. I mean, at the same time, Hydreigon can also switch in on that, so that isn't really the end of the world now, is it? But looking at what I'm going to be leading with, it's a question. I have a lot of things that I can lead with. I could lead with Azelf, I could lead with Mega Beedrill, I could also lead with Hydreigon. There's a numerous amount of possibilities I could go with. But hey, in the last couple of seasons, I stopped at 25. Last season that I did, I stopped at 26. But we are much more excited about a new number this time. But I don't really want to stall for 5 more seconds, but I will until now. And pause. If you can figure out why we stopped at 14, I'll give you a cookie in the comment section below. But the basics on how this works is, I go over each Pokemon with a brief description, and then we get into the battle, alongside the plot and the intros and all of that stuff. It's a fun time for me to edit, it's a fun time for you to watch, so let's get into it. Our first Pokemon is Palladian, the Aegislash, who is holding the Life Orb, obviously with Stance Change, that's the only ability you can get, but has Shadow Ball, Flash Cannon, King Shield, and Shadow Sneak. It's a pretty average set, especially with the fact that it's max HP, max special attack. I gave it a little bit more speed investment, actually, just to make sure it wasn't a speed type with Jellicent, which didn't end up being an issue because he didn't bring it. So next up we have Dahaka, our Hydreigon, obviously with Levitate, but it's holding the Rocky Helmet. That's because it's a max HP, max defense, like it's a defensive Hydreigon, and that's only because it needs to switch into the likes of Landorus Therian, Steelix, Skuntank, and even Rotom Heat. So this will be basically my rock for the game, at least on the physical side, just so they can't just run amok. It has Dark Pulse, Roost, U-Turn. I'm rocking Tailwind just because I thought it might be a good tech, and that's pretty much it. Up next is Lucia, our Tapu Fini with Leftovers, and then again, Misty Surge is the only ability it gets. It gets Telepathy, but it's not released yet. So it has Muddy Water, Moonblast, Shadow Ball, and Defog, and it's max special defense, max HP, with a bold nature to make sure things like Heracross can't run amok because, of course, Hydreigon can't really take hits like that. So that's our Defogger, so we need to keep that thing around. Up next, we have a potential lead, Nemesis the Azelf, or Azelf, however you pronounce it. It's holding the Focus Sash just to make sure rocks can get up. Obviously, Levitate, there's a common theme here with this team that it's their only ability that I can use, but it is max HP, max speed, I believe enough speed to outspeed the Tornadus Incarnate, if I remember correctly. It has Psychic, Hidden Power, Ice, Stealth Rock, and U-Turn. It's kind of just a lead, and then I just tech other stuff on it, just to make sure I have things for certain things. And Hidden Power Ice will be great, because if he's not running Choice Scarf Landorus, Choice Scarf Tornadus, I can just bop him with a Hidden Power Ice. That will especially be good against Landorus, because obviously it's quad weak to it. Up next, we have Cerberus, the Arcanine, with holding the Leftovers with Intimidate. This is our special wall, which is really weird. You don't normally see a special wall Arcanine, now do you? But it has Flare Blitz, Extreme Speed, Morning Sun, and I was on the fence about Will-O-Wisp, but then I thought Misty Terrain could screw that up. It really could. So I went with Bulldoze, because Bulldoze can potentially have Pokemon speed drop. And that would be good on a defensive wall versus just an actual, like Entei. Entei, you really need to get Earthquake. You shouldn't have to attack with Bulldoze. You should be attacking with Earthquake. But that's, point being, is that it's on a wall. Bulldoze might be a good tech. And that's how we roll. Next up is Beelzebub. That is our Mega Beedrill, holding the Beedrillite, obviously. And the ability doesn't matter because he doesn't really have a good switching ability. I wouldn't really switch in this thing anyways, but it's max attack and max speed only because he has an Excelgor. So if I don't want to get hit with a speed tie with Excelgor, then I had to do that. Once again, though, he didn't bring it, so I kind of wasted the HP stat, but whatever. It's week 1. I can't really risk anything. So that is our team. Also, don't mind that Aegislash is a male. It's supposed to be female. I just was pressed on time.
We should be safe now.
Takiba, do you read me?
Yes, I hear you.
Be careful. There's more than one enemy. The one we're fighting isn't the one Akihiko saw.
What? Let's pull back.
Now, I did lead off with Exiled because I wanted to get Stealth Rocks up as soon as I could, because if I could get those up, then Rotom Heat couldn't do its switch shenanigans, because I know that thing is going to be a problem, because I'm only relying on my 2 defensive walls to deal with it, because I can't really hit it super effectively with anything. So anyways, the Magician Arcana is ready to fight. We lead off with Nemesis, the Exiled, and what do we see here? Well, we see the General, which is Landorus Therian. Let's get it.
I think we're okay for now. Huh? What? Those monsters. We call them shadows.
Go on.
There!
Wait!
Persona.
Thou art I, and I am thou. From the sea of thy soul,
As we suspected.
So we're going to start off with getting intimidated, but of course, we do have Hidden Power Ice in the back pocket, so I could go for the rocks, but really, I have the chance in my hand right here. I could easily just go for HP Ice, because I know I outspeed this thing, and it's pretty much a given. It would have been great. We'll find out, but no, he withdraws. Does that mean he doesn't have U-turn? Probably not. It probably was just something that he forgot, but he goes into Easy Bake. I don't know if he was scouting for it, but that's unfortunate, because now we are forced to, well, we can just U-turn. I know we outspeed, because there's no point in switching out now. That doesn't really make any sense, because free damage is free damage, no matter how minuscule it is. So what we're going to do is switch out here, and if I remember correctly, we're looking for something that we can switch into. Not necessarily like a attacker. Well, it seems, oh yeah, that's right, because we needed something to take the Volt Switch, which the best Pokemon is, of course, this one. Because I don't want him to be able to bring in, like, a free rocks at all. It's not my kind of thing. So anyway, he goes for the Volt Switch, and now I wait. So I'm trying to think of what he could switch into, but he goes right back into General. It makes more sense to do that, because of course he gets the Intimidate off on me, and I can't really do much outside of that. Especially because of Earthquake. But I need to figure out what I can do here, because I don't really want to lose Arcanine right here. He still is needed. So I believe I'm trying to predict whether or not he goes for Earthquake or U-turn, and I'm thinking maybe I should go out into Hydreigon, and then, you know, that's what I do, because he actually goes for Rock Polish. Now this part is huge. This is kind of what Hydreigon's here for. I could have gone into Azelf, but that's pretty risky to do, because he's not physically offensive, you know. So, or physically defensive, excuse me. So, I mean, this is what Hydreigon's here for. This is the main thing, that and Skuntank. So, I do need to keep that in mind. And Steelix. So, this thing is really key. He used Rock Polish, and oh crap. Oh boy. That's all-out pummeling. This is gonna be really rough. But this is what he was here for. And Dahaka somehow lives on 9 HP. Drops the Dark Pulse. It does minuscule damage because he doesn't really have any investment, but the fact that he lived an all-out pummeling like that is absurd. Beyond belief. Living on 9 HP? But the problem is, he outspeeds me, but I want to keep this thing around. So I'm kind of forced to switch out if he wants, or if I want to keep this thing around. And I gotta make sure Stealth Rocks don't get off on the field. Now, this is a big risk because, well, I mean, I have my Sash intact, and I know I outspeed this thing, but luckily he goes for Superpower, which is actually good in my book. You probably just saw the HP bar go up on the screen right there. I forgot it because I'm using a different program, akin to last time I did Draft League format, so pardon if you saw that. Now, anyways, I'm thinking here, I could go for Hidden Power Ice, or I could go for Stealth Rocks. What is more useful for the current game and then the long game? Well, I'm thinking the long game, because I do believe I go for Stealth Rocks here on his switch, because I knew he was switching out. I thought it might have been into the Rotom Heat, but no, he goes into Steelix as I get my rocks up, and the fact that he has the Steelix tells me he has the rocks. And once again, minuscule damage is damage. Minuscule damage, excuse me, is damage. That's why I go for U-turn every time, because who knows, that 1 HP might really help. But anyways, I bring out Lucina here on the switch, because I'm pretty sure Stealth Rocks is coming. So that's what happens. And now I have a free Muddy Water, because Muddy Water is the best move you can have in terms of like a wall, because it kind of replaces Scald. The 30% that Scald has is replaced from burn to accuracy rate. So it's kind of a weird trade-off, but it's a trade-off nonetheless. I could go for damage, but that really wouldn't make any sense, when it's a wall at least. So here, I'm just going to go for Muddy Water. I could go for Defog, but I want to keep these rocks up a little bit longer, or do I? No, because this is not that turn, because I'm just trying to go for damage right now. I am okay with rocks right now, and any damage is good damage. That's what I've been saying this entire time. So here comes the Skuntank on the switch, and Skuntank is an old friend. But alas, that was a different story. This is a new story. And the new story implies that I cannot stay in on this Skuntank, because I'm going to get completely poisoned by this thing and its toxic powers. I don't know what it can use, but it actually reminds me of my old self. But I've moved on from that. Let's get back to the battle. Let's get to the current time. So what we have here is a problem. I'm trying to consider my options, and what I end up doing is going into Cerberus, because I can at least get the Intimidate off, and I can heal up. That was the best course of action. This is more of a pivot move, because I know I can just go for Morning Sun and then heal this damage back up. The problem is that leaves me at a pretty bad spot, because it's a liability to have to spend a turn to heal up when they can just switch out. I believe that's what he does here, but I don't really have a choice. Stealth Rocks are up, and if I do not heal up here, then a wall is significantly weakened, and I can't allow that to happen because I sort of need walls. So he does switch out, go back out into the Easy Bake Oven of Rotom Heat as I go for the Morning Sun, which is actually kind of odd. Now, while I can't do really anything here, I go for Bulldoze because I actually predict him to Volt Switch, and I'm pretty sure he is faster. But for some reason, we're rocking in at a speed tie because I added a little bit of speed investment on Arcanine just for EVs, just to make sure that I wouldn't get outsped by something. I can't remember what. It definitely wasn't Rotom Heat. Otherwise, I would have made a made sure it wasn't a speed tie. So that's why I went for Bulldoze there. It looks kind of silly, but that's not really much I can do there. The whole point is that we take a unnecessary damage. I believe it's from a Thunderbolt, but yeah, we heal it back up. So that's actually pretty nice. I think it was a Thunderbolt. Point being is that right here, it's kind of a stalemate. I can't really do anything to this Rotom Heat. He can't do anything to me because I'm just going to heal it up. Of course, I do have only 8 PP on Morning Sun, so I do need to keep track of that so I don't just waste those and then I'm a sitting duck, in other words, without the help of the sun. You know, Cerberus here praises the sun! But in this case, it praises the extreme speed because Thunderbolt's actually not doing too much, which is actually really good because I can slowly whittle this thing down and make sure that the oven does not work anymore, you know? Because that's my key, because like I said before, Rotom Heat kind of is a problem to my team with barely any resistances to this. It is a problem, unfortunately. What it's holding is an Iapapa Berry, which means its HP is back up. So, well, we're back to square 2 again. I would say square 1, but its HP isn't full, which means back to praising the sun. And, of course, he goes for Volt Switch because he knows that he can't really do anything in that fight because unless he wants to PP stall, but I don't really see many people going for that. But luckily for me, he actually switches into Landorus, and then from there, what can we do? We're once again intimidated, and I know an Earthquake is coming, and I actually just go on a whim and go, hey, Nemesis, you can just do stuff. If you go down, you go down. But instead, he goes for Earthquake. I did that on a whim, just to try to get in. I know it was an aggressive move, but really, I didn't really have a choice because my Hydreigon is actually really low, and this is the part that I remember, because the rocks are up on my side. I was thinking, yes, perfect. Now I can possibly bring it in, but no. Instead, I go into Tapu Fini, stones are up, gonna hit me, and now I'm thinking, this is the only chance I have to defog. Does he really actually stay in and go for Stealth Rock? I don't think so. He doesn't want to run the risk to take so much damage from a Muddy Water that he has to switch out. This is a perfect turn. It's written out. That's how it is on the script. I go for Defog, get rid of the rocks, everything is fine. I still have my rocker in Azelf, and his Steelix isn't in right now, and that would be great. But that's the plan. The question is he really going to go for the aggressive move to stay in and go for Stealth Rocks again? And the fact that I'm actually bringing that up should be telling. Because unfortunately, spoiler alert, that's what he actually does. He goes for the aggressive move on my Defog. He was really risking everything on that turn. But the problem is, that's terrible for me because now I have to use another turn, and because of that, I completely lost all momentum. And I don't even have rocks on his side of the field anymore. He brings in the Skuntank, and now I am screwed. I don't know what to do. I have to go into Arcanine. At least my HP won't drop from the rocks anymore because there's no rocks at all. But still, I'm on the back foot. That was a really good move by him to go for it all and just set up rocks again. That was a great read. So I'm forced out again to go into my Arcanine. And I believe he goes for Poison Jab here, but it's not that bad. The Intimidate does come in handy, and he's running some sort of defensive investment in the Skuntank, so it doesn't seem like it's doing enough as it is. But here, I actually go for the read myself because I predicted something incredible, but alas, he goes out into this thing, the Rotom Heat. That's not really what I was expecting, and I'm thinking, you know what? I need to get my rocks up pronto. If I can get those up, that's fine. Unfortunately, I do lose Azelf, but the rocks are up. And as long as he doesn't get rocks up on his side, then we should be in the driver's seat. Well, maybe the passenger seat because we wouldn't be fully in control, but at least we would be able to whittle things down, such as the Rotom Heat. And that is why I need Stealth Rocks up so badly. So now he brings in the Skuntank off the Volt Switch. I have priority, and I'm thinking I can go into Haka right now. Stealth Rocks are gone. I can finally just have him recover, because that's what I was worried about earlier. I was considering bringing him in against the Steelix, but I realized that wouldn't make any sense because the Stealth Rocks would kill him. So this is the perfect chance. All I gotta do is roost. And now we have a defensive wall back again, and crap. Yeah, that's something they didn't take in account for, that he could have play rough. That's really unfortunate. And I definitely paid the price. I should have known that because my last team had Skunk Tank. Well, it was at the very end of the season, and it was a year ago, so I can let that slide. Unfortunately, what I can't let slide is now I'm down 6-4, and I just threw away one of my Pokemon without meaning it, you know? It's really unfortunate. Anyway, Beelzebub. I can bring in Mega Beedrill here, and I could go for a Drill Run, but does he actually stay in? Not with the Steelix still in back with a Rocky Helmet. That's why I cannot go for Drill Run. Well, I mean, I could go for Drill Run, but I actually predicted the Landorus Therian to come in. That's exactly why I went for the U-turn instead of Drill Run, because I couldn't really run that risk. Because I couldn't really have him immune, and all of a sudden he's intimidating me, and it's not a good time. And now I go into Lucina just to go for damage. That's pretty much I'm going in here for, because I don't need a Defog. He doesn't have Rocks up, and I'm expecting Rocks here, which means it's probably going to be near the end for the Rocks on his side of the field. So, you know, so I'm going for Muddy Water here. If I can get off a good chunk of damage, maybe I can get the knockout. I'm looking at the calcs, and unfortunately, it's kind of a roll whether or not I can knock him out from this range, and we'll see if I get that roll here. I dropped the Muddy Water. Oh, so close, but yet so far. But he doesn't actually go for Stealth Rocks, which is actually massively huge, because now Beedrill won't be whittled down, Arcanine won't be whittled down, and the fact that it's 6-4 means it might be my time to shine. My win conditions are still in the back. I still have Aegislash, I still have Mega Beedrill. Everything is good. All we gotta do is set up for the sweep. But he has not brought in the Heracross. He has not brought in the Clefable, which worries me. But I do knock out the Steelix, so it's not the end of the world. We're not getting 6-0 today. Rejoice! So, but the fact that he hasn't brought out the Heracross tells me that it's probably Moxie. Choice Scarf Moxie, so I do need to keep aware of that. So he does bring in the Rotom Heat. Free Volt Switch because I don't have my Ground Type this week. I mean, he probably has Hidden Power Ice anyway. So he goes for Volt Switch, drops me about 97 HP, so I need to be careful here because here comes the Landorus, which means I cannot go for Morning Sun. Now, I could go for Morning Sun here, but that would be way too risky to even think of that, to even fathom that. So I'm once again forced out. He could go for U-turn here. That's not really worth the risk, so I'm a bit underhanded, and I'm kind of thinking about what to do. Obviously, I can't go into Aegislash. I can't go into Mega Beedrill because I know an Earthquake is coming. So what do? He actually has me in check right now. It's not really checkmate per se, but he has me in a point where something is gonna die. Something is going to be knocked out from the battle. And I think I made a mistake because I go into this. I was looking at the calcs, I'm thinking, maybe it's possible with leftovers. It's a slight roll. I know something's going to go down here, and it sucks that I threw this away because the Heracross is still there. And the Heracross definitely, probably actually, has a move that can hit my Arcanine for super effective damage. And Tapu Fini drops, and now, if that is true, if Heracross does have a Ground-type move, a Rock-type move, well, we don't really have anything for that. I mean, technically we do in Aegislash, because we can at least tank one because it's not a stab move, but that's, I mean, it's not really good. And in fact, I can't really do much right now because Mega Beedrill can't do anything to this Landorus Therian, neither can Arcanine. And the only thing that can take a hit right now is the Aegislash. Barely. Actually, just straight up barely. I was thinking about Shadow Sneak, but that really wouldn't do the trick. He wouldn't be knocked out, but luckily we live on 16 HP, and I'm like, yes! Ooh, this is gonna be great. I go for Flash Cannon, and I forgot the Life Orb damage. Crit didn't matter, by the way. And Palladian drops down too, so now all of a sudden it's 4-2. I definitely didn't take an account for that, but, I mean, I'm not taking anything from Heracross at that point, so I would have just gone for Shadow Sneak, and probably did about maybe 25%. So, I mean, it sucks, and things aren't looking too good. The only way I can win this right now is if Heracross does not have Earthquake, does not have Rock, or rather Stone Edge, Rock Slide, whichever Rock stat that it has. I go into Arcanine, and this is actually probably the best scenario to be in right now, because he actually switches out, surprisingly. Maybe he didn't want to get intimidated. I don't know. I was going to be like, you know what? If he does have any move, we'll see it now. He's intimidated. He can't really do anything. And hey, I'm just going to go for Flare Blitz. That does a ton of damage. Except he goes for Wish here. Also, if you notice, he took damage from Stealth Rocks, which means, I believe, he does not have Magic Guard. I think? Is Magic Guard the hidden ability, or is it Unaware? I forgot. I haven't really used Clefable in a long time, so I think I forgot. But meanwhile, I'm trying to think, what is he going to take this Wish into? I believe when I looked at his team, I knew the Rotom Heat was coming in. So I was trying to calc what would be the best option to make sure the Wish would not go through, and the Flare Blitz does more damage. All I need. It's possible to knock him out with a roll, but no! No! It lives on a sliver of HP. You could see it in that meter. Now that really sucks. If I could have done it right there, that would have been great, because now I don't have to take more damage and use more of the PP on the moves. And, we were right there. Now, theoretically, had Rotom Heat gone down, he would have just brought in the Heracross if he does have a Rock or a Ground-type move, which I'm under the assumption at this time that it is. And if you look at it, I went for Extreme Speed there. The fact that it lived over 25% told me that I had to heal, because at this point, I know Rotom Heat is going to go down, or something. Something's going to go down. So I'm trying to keep my Arcanine with the most HP possible. That's all I got to do, because I know if I can keep the Heracross from coming in, then, or rather, if I can keep the Heracross from coming in while I'm low, then I can potentially avoid the Moxie boost sweep. That's all I'm trying to do right now. All I got to do is go for Morning Sun here, and then the Rotom Heat goes down, but there's a little bit of a catch here that I did not take an account for, and I didn't actually remember this. Even though I used a Skuntank in the last league I used, I didn't think of it. Because, of course, I mean, he goes for Thunderbolt here. He does go for Thunderbolt, and I go for Flare Blitz here to make sure. Is it Flare Blitz or is it Extreme Speed? Oh, okay, yeah, it was Extreme Speed, because I didn't want to take any more damage than I already had. But he does switch into the Skuntank here, and I go for Extreme Speed to make sure that Sucker Punch wouldn't go through. But unfortunately, I did not take an account for Aftermath. Aftermath put me in a range that I did not want to be at, because after seeing that, I'm like, he has Earthquake or Rock or a Rock move. He has to. Why else would he do that? So I go for Flare Blitz here, because I'm thinking I'm not going to live this. If he has Earthquake, actually I think I was looking at Close Combat. I didn't think of Earthquake, but I was thinking if he has Close Combat, he would easily sweep this because of Aftermath. And I at this point, I believe I lost, and then I saw Earthquake. I'm like, please, please. Oh. And then when I looked at the speed with the Choice Scarf, I knew it was impossible, because he just barely gets over the max speed that Mega Beedrill can have. So Earthquake comes in, and I'm not living it.
Come on, hang in there.
Are you okay? Oh, come on! Say something!
Are you alright?
Can you hear me? Please! Answer me!